Hello everyone, my name is Patty Bailey and this is my presentation on our research project for teacher perceptions of physical education. I am Patty Bailey, the lead investigator. So a breakdown of the presentation. We're going to start with an introduction, why we're doing this study, the hypothesis we had. Second, we're going to discuss some of the literature that was found about the topic. And our third section, we're going to talk about the methods, instruments, and we're going to discuss both the data we found and suggestions for the future. So the introduction, obviously as we progress, this is about physical education, and schools throughout the country are complex inside and out. Physical educators are located in most schools throughout the country, obviously not all, but most schools. And as teachers, we need to work together as a school unit in order to create the best success we can for our students. The problem is there's not that much research about teacher perception of physical education educators. We know a little bit about teacher perceptions of classroom, teacher perceptions of students, and how those affect things. But specifically classroom teacher perceptions of physical education, there is not that much research. PE continues to be a subject that is largely cut by a lot of schools. And in order to justify why physical education should or should not be cut, we need to look further into the relationship of PE and physical educators in schools and school systems. The purpose is to find out what classroom teachers think about physical education and physical educators, the necessity, accessibility, and why their perceptions exist. Why are these things happening? The hypothesis is classroom teachers with negative experiences in their own physical education will not consider physical education as a core subject and will devalue physical education in general. The significance of this study is it's going to provide administrators with details about the complex relationships between classroom teachers and physical educators, and it is going to outline predisposed perceptions that classroom teachers may have. This is going to start the underlying groundwork for an overall subject that needs to be researched more. Then we're going to talk about the review of the literature and the literature that we found about the subject. The first thing that we want to break down is the necessity of physical educators. As you can see, there's a big stat on the top, and it's according to Shape America, which is a national institution for health and PE. Only 35 states require physical educators at the elementary level. 35 states, at the elementary level, 43 at the middle, and 40 at the high school. That means that there are 15 states that do not require physical educators, certified physical educators at the elementary level. And as we're talking about necessity of physical education, you can see a study that was conducted by Plasek and Randall in 1986, and it talked about academic learning time and how much time students are actually spending on topic in physical education, how much time they're spent moving, how much time they're doing things. And the study found that there is more time, teachers who were physical education specialists, they had been certified physical educators, they may have minimal experience and they may have had a lot of experience. There was no difference in academic learning time. However, the physical educators were much better at selecting appropriate curriculum, and they were much better in their content knowledge. Now, we know in order to teach a subject, we need the content knowledge there, and they were better at picking appropriate activities. So while non-specialist physical educators may not necessarily have a significant difference in academic learning time, there's a big difference between students playing Red Rover in physical education and students learning a skill-building activity. The second part is, why do these teacher beliefs form? From what we know from the study, Graeber talks about that with physical education in general, most physical educators, and I stress that word physical educators, form their beliefs through their own physical education as well during their teacher training program. So what we can assume from this is that classroom teachers form their beliefs in the classroom when they are younger and through their teacher preparation program. So they might also have predisposed dispositions about the other subject, whereas classroom teachers to PE teachers to classrooms. What we know is that, according to Morgan and Hansen, that perceptions are not set in stone. While teachers may believe certain things more than the other, we know that teacher perceptions are changeable. There are studies that suggest you can change it through professional learning. You can change it through creating a physical education program and creating a physical activity culture in a school. And lastly, the importance of physical education. According to the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, 1 in 3 children is overweight and obese. And obviously these children are going to have a higher risk of disease when they're older. Sedentary value, type 2 diabetes has become a large problem. And to combine that stat, students are now spending an average 943 hours in the classroom. In elementary schools, every year they're spending 943 hours. However, only 6 combined states, 3 at elementary and 3 at the high school, meet the nationally recommended minutes per week in physical education. So out of those 943 hours students spend each year, only students in 3 states, 6 states total, are getting the proper amount of physical education during their day. Now we're going to talk about the actual study and what was found. So the participants of this study, there were 2 major groups. One was at Roselleville Elementary School, which is located in South Colony Central School District, right in Colony, New York, just outside of Albany. There's about, I believe, 8 to 10 from that group. And the rest of the 39 about entrants were online survey takers, whether that was from multiple states, from Arizona, from Illinois, I believe one from New Jersey. So all of these participants were classroom teachers. Along with, as you can see in our figure 1 over here to the right, that they have a variety of teaching experiences. While the majority of the teachers that took were 0 to 5 years of experience, with the second largest group being 11 to 20, we did have some in the 30 plus range, and we had some 21 to 30 and 6 to 10. Design. Participants were asked to fill a 13-question survey. It was filled out anonymously. However, for the online survey takers, they were required to put their email. However, when looking at the results, the emails were omitted. The survey was 13 questions, 10 quantitative and 3 qualitative questions. The paper surveys were submitted to a mailbox anonymously that I picked up, and the online surveys were submitted automatically. Each set of questions, both qualitative and quantitative, had its own set of directions for the participants to follow. Lastly, each participant of the paper surveys were also put in electronically so that all the data could be analyzed on Microsoft Excel and on Google Forms. The results. This is our table 1. We talked about earlier that the hypothesis would be if teachers did not enjoy their own physical education experiences, that they were not going to value physical education as a core subject. So as you can see, we had 35 total teachers enjoyed their experiences and 14 who did not. Out of the 35, we had 25 value it as a core subject and 10 that did not. So although we did have 10 that did not value it as a core subject, we obviously had a higher percentage of teachers in that spectrum that did value it as a core subject. Whereas we look at teachers who did not enjoy their physical education experiences, we had 8 of the 14, so just over 50% of those teachers did not value it as a core subject. So the percentage of teachers who did not enjoy their physical education experiences also did not value their core subject is aligning right with what the hypothesis was guessing. Discussion of the results. We had 63% of teachers view PE as a core subject. However, 100% of teachers thought that physical education was an important part to their students' day. A lot of problem that teachers had with calling physical education a core subject is a lot of the comments relied in the qualitative questioning. They did not value it as a core subject. They did not see it as an academic subject. It was not state tested. It was not assessed by the physical education teacher in their school. So a lot of classroom teachers believed that the reason for physical education not being a core subject was its lack of academia, which we can either argue for or see their reasoning behind. Also, you can see in the figure to the right, 46 out of 49 teachers were willing to collaborate with the physical educator to teach subjects that they teach in the classroom in the gymnasium. As well as in a figure not listed, 46, the same number of students were also willing, or the same number of teachers, were also willing to help teach physical education subjects and relay them those concepts in the classroom. My recommendations for future research. Physical educators need to be the instigators, and what I mean by that is they need to be the ones that are going out and getting classroom teachers to collaborate and saying, hey, what are you guys doing for science? Maybe we can enforce that in the gym. Physical educators need to be the go-getters in this situation. We also need to begin to start programs and whole school involvement. This isn't just something that's, intramurals are run before school. No, we need to create an environment where physical activity and physical education are not only stressed to students, but they are valued as a core subject by the administrators, the teachers, the faculty, the parents, and the community around us. We need to be the go-getters in setting those up. Lastly, one thing we need to assess. We need to make physical education an academic subject and show teachers its classroom value, its value for students in the future, not only for a healthy body and healthy mind, but also its academic value. Lastly, I believe the next step for this research is to conduct a study with physical educators where each physical educator in a school takes one classroom teacher or one grade level and works with them for a month or several months at a time. They work on collaborating the subjects. It might be a science in the classroom, and it might be something to do with exercise science in the gymnasium. They collaborate. These teachers then get the opportunity to work one-on-one with the physical educator. They get to have concepts that they teach in the classroom reinforced, and the physical educator gets to have concepts that they teach reinforced in the classroom. I believe this will show one of two things. It will show that either there can be an improvement in teacher perception or there cannot. So I think that that's the next step for this research. Here are the references. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, you can feel free to comment on this video, or you can contact me through my email at patrickabailey@gmail.com. Thank you very much.